Hi, I am here with
Hi,
Benjamin Eo today. I am so excited to chat about the short film you were in, Tainted.
I'm excited too.
It was
Thanks
so
for having me.
action-packed. It was honestly everything you could kind of want from a thriller action short. It checked off the boxes from dystopian future, strong world building, clones, epic fights,
Mm,
vampire mutations, explosions,
yeah.
weapons. Definitely a wild ride. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you about the process of making this beast of a
Yeah.
film. So Benjamin,
Thank
based
you.
on
Mm.
your athleticism and your ninja-like skill in these fights, I'm guessing this was, your first time doing combat. I'd love to hear about what your training is, both in fight, but also in acting.
Well, okay. So, long story short, I started acting when I was 17, 18,
Okay.
well, 17, 18 years old, right? I never liked the industry back then. Back then, with acting, it was like long reading hours. And, being young and immature, you don't really know what's going on. Because I came from a singer background, right? I used to
Okay.
sing mainly. Yeah, I had a recording label and stuff like that. So acting was a whole new ballgame for me. And 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 to do this acting, actually I kind of left this acting industry for a while.
Mm,
I totally give it up because I didn't really like it. Long hours, there was a point also in the industry that it wasn't very nice too. That was
yeah.
when social media was not around yet, right? So things can happen behind the scenes. But
Yes.
anyway, that was a long time ago. So anyway, yeah, and so I got back to acting again in 2016, and that was just basically me, missing the old thing, and I stopped singing, and so I want to try and find other avenues again to get
Yeah.
back into entertainment. So yeah, so I started with commercials first, TVC. So you hold a product and you smile and simple
Yes.
stuff, right?
I do know
So I don't
that.
get so overwhelmed. And then I started doing more. I got opportunities to do more TV work, short films. And that was like when I started to fall in love with acting in a
Mm,
in a different degree, in a different way. Because I didn't really like acting before. And I was like, it's so much more interesting compared to music because music feels like you are constrained with the structure, right? The
hmm
key and the melody of the music, or basically the arrangement of the song. Whereas
hmm
acting, you can have infinite amounts of ways to actually play a character.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I don't have any training at all. I've never had any acting school or degree or whatever. But I mean, I do, of course, take lessons online
Yeah.
or locally or, on Zoom and stuff. So that keeps me alive and the passion going and at the same time refining the skill always.
Yeah. It is
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
gym. The studio I work
it
at,
is.
they always talk about it's a gym. You're an athlete, and an athlete
Yeah,
doesn't
it is.
stop going to the gym to improve their skills. So an actor always needs to be refining it and yeah, figuring out your instrument as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, acting
exactly,
always gets you
exactly.
back, doesn't it? When you feel that
Yeah.
need for the creative outlet, it always finds its way
Mm,
back. And okay, so
yeah.
we've had this journey, and how did this project come into your life?
Wow. Okay. So honestly, I didn't expect to get this role. So,
Mm,
when I saw the casting call for this, they were looking for three characters, right? The protagonist and the antagonist, and then also the Doctor Cole, right?
yeah.
And the age range for the characters are all in 20s, and Doctor Cole was in 40s. So I am in my 40s. So I would naturally say, okay, look, this is the character that's more suitable for me. Let's apply for this Doctor Cole role.
Yeah.
And and it's sometimes the universe works in a mysterious way. So when I send in my stuff, I don't know why I missed out on certain things. I forgot to submit my show reel. And it's like, what are
Awesome.
the odds, right? And so the director was like, okay, Ian, decided to say, let's do a Google search on this guy. I think maybe he's something I've sort of seen some of this stuff before. Let's just Google him and see whether can we find some show reel. And luckily enough, he managed to find it on YouTube. And
Nice.
so he saw my show reel. And he said, like, based on his look and out appearance, I don't think he's suitable for Dr. Cole because Dr. Cole is an older person, even though I'm in that age 40 plus. But he said
Your
like,
skincare
why don't
routine
you
is
try?
great because you look you don't look 40.
I think it's the Asian genes. But yeah. Um, so yeah, he called me in and said like, could you play this I want you to try for Dr. Cole too, but I also want you to try for both the protagonist and antagonist role,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a dream come true because I always want to do like a fight scene or supernatural or superhero kind of movie scene
Yeah.
or film scene, right? And then he asked me to audition and stuff, and I was like, okay, I have no stunt background at all. I completely don't know what's going on. But I did the homework on the character, like basically how and I actually honestly also took a class. I took a one-on-one class with one of the acting school just to help me prep the role. Even
Nice.
though I know it was just an audition, right?
It's worth
But
it
that
when
was
you
how much
care.
I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, eventually I did the part and I did both roles. And then he said like, you know what? I think maybe we can skip the Dr. Cole part, the scientist part.
Hmm.
We just want you to audition for this too. And then of course I'm like, okay, I'm just like, I don't know if I get it or not. And then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, when I was in overseas, and then they texted me say, oh, congrats, you got the role of the main lead. And I'm like, oh yes, yes. I was like, but and then I was like still very unsure about myself. I'm like, are you sure you got the right? I mean, internally, the inner voice
Yeah.
that says like, oh, it's not good enough, da da da. And then I said, oh, but I don't have any stunt trainings. I have not done anything at all. They said, don't worry, we have classes for you. I'm like, okay,
Amazing.
wow, the best thing. Yeah, the best
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
that little inner voice. Okay, now the realization of what that entails now that it's yours. But that's, I'm very
yeah,
surprised that you haven't had fight training before because I saw that.
yeah. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
fight, the quality of fight scenes can make or break a piece, especially like this. So,
Definitely.
what was the training like? How many classes did you have to do to get that ease that you found in production?
I think based on memory, I think we have about 5 classes. No, 3 classes that were actually pre-booked already. Like
Okay.
they tell me upfront, you need to take 3 classes. But I
Okay.
know that 3 classes is definitely not enough.
No.
And yeah, and so I said like I had to talk to the stunt team and said like, guys, do you think that I know that it's only 3, but I'm okay to take my time off, come in,
Yeah.
just to go through, and then I promise on my end, also I'll go back, send me the videos, I'll go back and practice on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm like basically doing shadow boxing at home by myself.
The things we do for the art.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And thankfully, I had some like dance training before when I was in like back in my boy band days. So that
Cool.
also kind of helped me remember the choreography quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay. So you're in the process. What was your experience like doing this film? Were there any surprising aspects, anything particularly memorable?
I think right off the bat, just thinking about it, the makeup. I think the makeup was
Mm,
something that was really out of this world. The makeup
yeah.
team is solid. I didn't expect it because when he asked me to go for like, oh, the tooth fitting and all that and the makeup testing, I was like, I'm not sure if this will work because
Yeah.
in Singapore sometimes there are constraints like
Mm,
budgeting constraints, and sometimes maybe and this is also a short film, so sometimes maybe they tend to cut some costs here and there. I'm not saying
yeah.
all, but in general, yeah. So I thought, it's just probably like simple makeup and all that. But when I saw the makeup and it did on my face, I'm like, shit, I look scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look scary. I was like, okay, this is cool. Now I feel like a Twilight kind of Dracula or vampire.
Definitely
Very fun.
centers you in the role, I'm sure. But yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I thought that the makeup and the prosthetics were really convincing because again, that is
Mm,
something that can make or break a film. It can go into
exactly.
cheesy territory or make us not quite want to buy in, but I was
Yes.
fully sold. Okay, so In terms of finding your character, seeing the prosthetics, having that integrated, how did you find how did you find this character? Because as much of it is a wild ride of a film, we need to believe you, and I did. I believed those drives and
Yeah,
motivations.
thank
So
you.
yeah, how did you get there?
I then again took another lesson with Berg Studios. I don't know if you heard of them. Yeah, but anyway, I took with this teacher called Gregory, and we worked on the character. So he made me question this character a lot. Like, why is this character behaving this way? Why
Yeah.
does this character have a close relationship with Dr. Cole? And why is he having another relationship with this Darien and Jared kind of relationship. What is that relationship for you?
Mm.
So it
Hmm.
made me imagine a lot of things. Like, so it could be out of this world. I could imagine that I was a big well. Obviously, the character was a clone, and the clone was basically staying in this military unit, and he has not seen the world at all,
Yeah.
right? He's never been out, and he's the only time that people give him love and compassion was Dr. Cole. He was staying
Mm.
with Dr. Cole. I mean, my own imagination. He was staying with Dr. Cole, and basically the rest of the military just hates the shit out of him because he's a clone. He's
Yeah.
he's not real in that sense. Yeah. So that really and I was talking about it kind of gives me goosebumps because I'm imagining again the whole thing and like yeah, it makes me feel like back in that
Yeah,
place that
fully
yeah
grounded in it. And I think, yeah, that
yeah.
definitely came across in the film. And that's
Thank you.
what makes these films, we have to care about the character. And there
Mm.
was that
Yeah,
care. We have to see, I guess, humans, we want to see the humanity in it. Even if it's
yeah,
a film about animals, we love to have that projection of what's the human emotions behind it.
yeah.
And yeah, we definitely got there. And okay, in terms
Thank
of
you.
the environment that you're filming in, obviously it wasn't all practical. Was there a green screen?
So it was a VR screen.
Wow.
I don't know if I say it correctly the term, but basically it's like a LED screen where it's like they have a projection of the what do you call that, the scene,
Yeah.
the lab basically. Yeah. So they had actually like I in my terms, I would call it like a huge giant TV where they have the background of the lab, and then
Oh,
of course
okay,
they have the
interesting.
props. Yeah, yeah, kind of like I mean, it's kind of like Mandalorian, right? Where they use that 3D panel thing,
Yeah.
and then they had that kind of background. So it was something like that. Yeah, and I think what really helped a lot for the character was that because the place was new, right? And this whole thing, VR screen thing, or a 3D screen or whatever, uh, it is something new in Singapore, and
Oh, okay.
they try basically trying to push it out, right, to for filmmakers, and so that location itself didn't have any installation of aircon yet, so it
Oh,
was like really really hot. We were all sweating, but it was perfect for the role because we
yeah.
had a lot of fight scenes and then we had to sweat and all that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
100%.
that was
There's nothing like the
yeah.
sensory output to
Yeah,
get you in it for sure. You're like, okay, we got some method
exactly.
acting going on.
Yes.
That's excellent. And after you saw the film, what was your reaction?
Oh my gosh. Thinking back about it now, it still feels like a dream come true.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was very happy. I mean, I was very happy with the result, and I think it's something that helps me anchor my self confidence.
Mm,
Meaning that whenever I feel like the inner voice is not, is talking down on me, or whenever I feel like I don't see where I am at or where I want to be, that is always a good flashback for me to say, look, you have done some quality work, and
yes.
you should be proud of yourself to help yourself move forward and not like, self-loathing or blaming yourself
Yeah.
or feel the lack of self-confidence and all that. So I think that experience itself when I watched the whole thing and the team itself was really good. I think at the end of the whole shoot, this I had a conversation with director Ian,
Mhm.
and he said this amazing piece of advice that he gave me and encouragement. He said when you first came for the audition, right? We and you did your interpretation for the roles. We immediately knew that you were the one that we were going to
Mhm.
choose. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what age you are, but you would suit that role. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And he said like, Ben, I really think that you're a very talented actor. And I've never honestly to today, sometimes it's very hard for me to say, look, I feel that I'm talented. I feel that I'm
Yeah.
good enough. I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when people say that to me, I still feel like, "Oh, maybe they're just being nice. Maybe they're just yeah.
Yeah.
Still today I still feel that. And but I think through the whole experience and watching the whole thing and the amazing team and the advice or the encouragement that I got, it like I mentioned, it's a good anchor for me whenever I feel
Hmm.
like lost. Yeah, to go
I think
back
that's,
and relive it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really important anchor to have,
Yeah.
especially seeing
Yeah.
a final product that you can get behind, especially a project where ultimately you didn't know if it was going to be your role. You didn't have the initial
Yeah.
training, so you had to put in the work. This wasn't just one that
Yes.
you can waltz into and say, "Okay, yeah, I'm here. Let's do it." It took a lot of preparation to
Yeah.
get. It is such an
And I,
interesting
and I'm
industry where you don't get that validation. You do how many auditions and you just leave and you
yes.
never hear from them again. And maybe there's a
Exactly.
callback and you're like, oh, I think that was good. I think we really vibed. I think that was, yeah, some good work. And you never hear again. So even to get the basic feedback from a director, like, you're
Yeah.
talented, we wanted you,
Yeah.
can be a little bit mind-blowing. People think for
Yeah.
actors and entertainment, everyone's peppering you with compliments all the time, but it's very much an
Mm.
isolated journey that you have to go through.
This it's kind
Yeah.
of like I feel like a toxic BGR relationship, you know? It's kind of like you're interested in this person and this person comes and like he gives you affection and he gives you all the attention, all that you want, but then somehow that person suddenly disappears. And you go like, "Oh, where are you? Where are you?" Right? And then somehow one day when you want to give it up, it just comes back again.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that analogy. So was it me? Was it something I said? And it
Yeah.
usually isn't. It usually isn't. It's usually just whatever projects or they're being pulled in a million directions too. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a really apt analogy. Okay, so
Yeah.
did you get to see the film with others? What have been some of the reactions, maybe from friends or family or the arts community, upon seeing the film?
Um, okay, so we had actually a screening premiere. It kind of like we went to a cinema, we flashed it on the screen, the big
Love
screen,
it.
and like wow, it was asking my friends because I invited some friends along, and then and the rest of the production team were there and stuff. They were all very surprised of the end result, right?
Yeah.
They all very you know because my friends also haven't seen me doing something like this.
Yeah.
And this is the first time seeing it. And then they'll go like, wow, it's really impressive. Like
Yeah.
everything looks real.
Hmm.
Everything feels like a high quality production.
Yes.
I got even a cousin of mine that says like it's like a Hollywood production kind of quality.
100%.
Mm.
Everything, there was nothing that I questioned in terms of the quality. And when you can believe it all, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a difficult place to get to.
Yeah, and somehow sometimes I do also a part of me wants to like hope this thing will carry on,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't involve me, but the whole storyline itself,
Hmm.
it'll be really really cool to just carry on because it has a very good story.
Very much so.
Yeah, yeah.
And some good messaging as we go into a more intense technological future. I mean, who knows what is already being experimented with and the ethics behind that. So I think it definitely will have.
Right. Yeah.
I think people are
Right.
gravitating towards more of the dystopian, apocalyptic future
Yeah.
and what technology's role is in it, especially when it comes to the human body as well. We are
Mm.
becoming experimented on with our connection to technology, and So I joke sometimes that I'm a cyborg because I have my phone like in my palm, checking
Right.
each text, or a ding will make me, I don't know, feel something very primal. But
Right, I know what you mean. Yeah. And
it's
sometimes like a ding will make you feel anxious, like you'll be wondering like, oh shit, is this like a work call, or is
yes.
this could be friends text, or sometimes when too many messages coming, you go like ding 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 ding,
Yes, you're completely at its will and mercy. So I do think that there's, yeah, a lot of messages that will definitely carry on. And okay,
Mm.
so what's next for you, Benjamin? I know that's a dreaded question for actors sometimes, but is
Yeah.
there anything in terms of arts projects in your future you're looking for, or anything upcoming in terms of just general training or
I
hopes?
think I think yeah, I think I mean the usual, of course, the acting lessons weekly,
Yeah,
right? That's the of course the you had the must do,
yeah, I respect
And then of course I just did two dramas, two kind of like soap operas dramas,
cool.
and I did a couple of episodes, maybe so far four for one of them and two for the other. So hopefully that one will come out in probably February or March
Very
next year. Yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Well, that would be
yeah.
very
Fingers
cool. A
crossed. Let's hope, man.
very different foray for you. So that's cool to
Yes,
show
very
that
different.
range and flex those skills in all kinds of different genres. That's excellent.
Thank you,
Well,
thank
thank you
you,
so much for chatting with me today. That was
thank you for your
lovely, and
time.
I loved hearing about your process and very relatable experiences. I think a lot of actors will be nodding in agreement or being like, I know that. So excellent. And I'm
Yeah,
going to be watching the film again now, knowing how the whole experience went through.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
excellent.
Love to check out your work as well. Is there
Yes,
somewhere I can check out your work?
I've got a website, or I did at some point. You can
Cool.
find me on IMDb.
All right. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
I should
Yeah.
be better about putting my work out there. I always hope that it'll just be floating out there, but should probably do that self-promotion thing. It's kind of part
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
job, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yes.
You
In
motivated me
marketing.
today and motivated me to kind of work on some sides for film class too. So that's
Yeah.
good. Constantly working.
Exciting.
So
I would
people don't
love to follow
recognize.
your journey too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
hopefully we'll chat about some future projects.
Alrighty.
That'd
Thank
be
you.
lovely. Bye.